What's up, Transformdom? This is Ben here in China, and today we're going to take a look at the MakeToys MTRM-11 Meteor, their interpretation of the masterpiece-scaled Starscream. And in the front you can see Starscream with a bit of a smirk and posing in the bot mode and him in the plane mode. At the backdrop you can see a little bit of Starscream's silhouette with the arms here and the body being here. Here he is from the side. You can see a bit of a silhouette of Starscream's legs. On the other side you can see a bit of the silhouette of Starscream's body. And at the bottom you got some Japanese text here, but because this is purchased in China, you got a sticker slab here in Chinese. Got the contents of the box, the top, and the back. You got alternate faces for Starscream, product shots from the back, the front, an accessory to go with Despotron, and Starscream with some action poses, and articulated null rays, and him in the jet mode. And here's a comp with the MakeToys Starscream box with the official Takara Tomy box, and you can see the Takara box is bigger and taller, and the Takara box is a little thicker. So without further ado, let's get this guy open. Here's the instruction manual. Looks black and white. Some cool stuff here, and QR code you can scan. And here we have Starscream out of his packaging, and I've got to say that he looks magnificent. The finishing and the heftness on this toy is remarkable. He has a lot of die cast on his body, in his thighs. The paint and the finishing on this toy is simply top notch, primo quality. Even the unpainted parts, you don't see any plastic swirling, and that is remarkable. If a third-party company can do this, I don't see the excuse that Takara had for doing the MP-11. This is quite amazing. So what do we get in this toy? We have the articulated null rays. You got missile pods for his alt mode, alternate faces. Here we have a screaming face, and we got the smirking face, and we got the Starscream. God, don't! You know, my bad impersonation of Starscream getting choked, and his face looks pitifully begging for mercy. It's not really the best sculpt, but I love the way they drew the eyes like downwards, like begging, just begging for his life. Comparing this MakeToys Starscream with the animation model, you can see that there is a strong resemblance between the two. The MakeToys Starscream here has a wonderful sculpt from the body to the legs. It really does remind you that it's animation accurate, it's cartoon accurate. Look at that, the chest piece, even the shading, even the detailings here. The detailings here on the, or the lack of detailings on the waist and crotch area, and the lack of details on the feet. It simply screams cartoon accuracy. It is amazing. The wings don't look bad either. There's a little bit of detailing on the wings, but you know, it's what players are supposed to have, right? And so I'm okay with that. The arms look quite accurate. The hands is a little bit small. And of course, my biggest gripe is the size of the head. It just looks terrible. And also, the air intakes here is not articulated. I mean, if you put him in on the side, you can see that the back of the air intake shoulder pads is sculpted very different than what it's supposed to be in the cartoon. For example, the back here is straight while the front is diagonal. It should be the other way around, where the air intakes should be straight here and it bends or curves backwards or diagonal backwards. So that is inaccurate. And that is all about the inaccuracies that I can see from the front. Pretty darn good. I mean, if you compare that with the Takara Starscream. At the back of the plane, however, it's a bit of a gibbly mess. I mean, whoa, what's going on here, Jack? We got holes here, looks really like the, you know, Combiner Wars, Legends Hasbro Transformers is just a lot of panel lines at the back. And you know what? I mean, I understand why they have all these lines here. It's just so that the wings, I mean, when they inject the plastic into the mold, the plastic would warp. And so I understand why they have all that, but oh, it is ugly. And you got a bit of the butt flap, and you got this thing that's dangling all over the place, and it feels a little, you know, loosey-goosey with all these pieces kind of flopping around. I also like that the wings can tilt and flop backwards, although I think I found something problematic for Starscream. When you try to pull his, push his arms to the back, it tends to flop the wings back. There you go. But as a collector's item where you just set it right there on the shelf, put him into an action pose, he looks amazing. Alright, so here we have the MP-11 Starscream side by side with the MakeToys Starscream. So what do you notice right from the back? Wow, this guy pops. The finishing and the colors on the MakeToys Starscream just pops. And you don't even have to look at the windshield. I mean, you just ignore the windshield. Alright? The red is more vibrant. The cream finishing on the legs, thighs, wings, upper arms, they look premium compared to the Takara. The Takara is just standing next to the MakeToys. This red is just so dull, especially under the white bright lights that I have here. The only thing that I like about the Takara MP Starscream is the head and the air intakes that is more animation accurate. And of course, the beautifully placed Decepticon symbols. But guess what? Here I have the Hasbro Starscream's face. And all I gotta do to remove head on the MakeToys is to, from the head front, just tilt it back and it comes off easily. And all I gotta do is put in the Hasbro head, and my god, this Starscream here is almost perfect. Let's take a closer look at the Hasbro face with the MakeToys Starscream face. Alright, as you can see again, that I've put a bit of paper in there just so that it's tight on the joint. If you don't have the paper on there, then it's going to be loosey-goosey. Yeah, it's just going to be like wobbly up and down. It will fit in there, but it will just be wobbly and you can't get him to look up. Anyway, taking a closer look at the two heads, let's zoom in. Now, what can we tell about the face? The official head is definitely a lot bigger, right? And even the faceplate here is a lot bigger. And also the faceplate has a metallic finish that just makes the face pop a lot more. Even though we know that Starscream has a very gunmetal grayish face. This finishing here is so dull compared to the official. And I'm just facing it to the light so you can take a look at the difference. You can also see the difference in the sculpting of the nose. This nose just looks so, I don't know, right? With a really high brow and the nose not as pointed and the lack of a chin makes this face look quite feminine, a little ugly. The eyes looks kind of lack of depth on the eyes, but you can see there is some depth to the eyes of the official Starscream's face. I mean, MakeToys got most of the head sculpt correct, just that the face doesn't look the part. Now let's do some comps. Here we have the MakeToys Starscream with the official Takara Starscream. Bumblebee, Sideswipe, Ratchet, Optimus Prime, Reflector, Shockwave, Thundercracker, Skywarp, and Battle Damaged Megatron. Alright, let's go through the articulation checklist. So let's get Starscream transformed to his alt mode. So here we have MakeToys Starscream fully transformed into the alt mode, and I've got to say that I love the finishing on this guy. The paint job is excellent, and you really get to appreciate the finishing on this toy when it's in the alt mode. I also applied my Repo labels, but I think the Repo labels are not big enough. The Decepticon insignia on the official Seekers are a lot bigger. Right off the bat, this toy doesn't really have a lot of articulation. You have a canopy that opens up, but there is no real seat for any figures. Here I got a figure for Chip, and he's a bit too big, so off he goes. There is some articulation in the stabilizers here, but it only really goes down, much like the official Starscream. The rear stabilizers and fins feels a bit wobbly, but that's just the nature of the beast because of the transformation, which is a trade-off that I'm kind of willing to accept. The landing gear, the wheels don't turn, and at the bottom of the plane, I don't see any port which you can insert a display stand. And also, at the rear section of the wing, you will see the visible feet syndrome. I love that they allowed us to put the missile pods in the alt mode, so it really does look more like a realistic jet. There really isn't a lot to play with for this toy. Pretty much what you see is what you get. Alright, let's do some comps. Here we have the MakeToys Starscream with the official Hasbro Starscream, Ramjet, Ironhide, Blue Streak, Grapple, and Wind Charger. That is pretty much all I've got to say for the MakeToys Starscream in the alt mode. So what are my final thoughts on this guy? Well, let's do the usual thing. 3 things that's good about it, 3 things that could be improved. First thing that I like about this fella, the paint job and the finishing. It is premium. It is magnificent. It is what I expect masterpiece toys to be like. Second thing that's great about this guy is the amount of insane articulation that this toy has. Yes, there are some limitations like the butterfly joints, the shoulder movement which can enlarge the rear wing. See? But this amount of articulation rivals MP36 bar none, and that's pretty amazing. And the third thing I like about this guy is the very smart transformation that happens at the feet to hide away the rear section of the plane, and that is great. Which comes to the 3 things that I think that could have been done better. First things, I think everyone would agree, is the rear wings at the back is just an eyesore. They have come so close to a finished product that they didn't even finish the rear wing. I understand why they need to have all these support linings to prevent the wings from warping, but they could have designed a second bottom layer that will clip onto the back. The second thing I don't like about this guy, the lack of articulation on the original head as well as the ear intakes. And the last thing that I think that could have been done better is the head sculpt. Original head sculpt can definitely be improved. So, would I recommend this guy? Absolutely. Why not? Even with all the minor flaws that it has, the good outweighs the bad. And if you have a cheap visual head lying around, I say put a piece of paper in it and put it on this figure. It will make this figure a whole lot better. So these are my thoughts. What about your thoughts? Please leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, share, also hit the sub and bell button so you'll never miss a single video in the future. Again, this is Ben here in China, enjoying this masterpiece Starscream, and I'll see you soon. See you on the flip side.
Ooh, this Venezuelan oil energy tastes delicious. Oh, my tummy's aching. Ah.